Hello and welcome to CIO Leadership Live in ASEAN. My name is Shireen Robert, editor of CIO ASEAN based in Singapore. And we're back for another episode in conversation with IT leaders across Southeast Asia and Hong Kong around leadership, innovation, and business strategy. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Dr. Ralph Ottertag, Director of Digital and Technology for Asia Pacific at the Heineken Company based in Singapore. Welcome, Ralph.
Hi, thank you very much for the nice introduction, Shireen. And I'm super happy to be in the call today. And let me also do a quick introduction to share a bit more about myself. I'm Ralph. I'm originally from Germany, and I have spent most of my career outside of Germany in international roles, where I was based in Americas or for about 10 years in Asia Pacific. And I also spent about 8 years in the business and the rest of the time in digital and technology leadership roles. And I'm based in Singapore, leading the APAC digital technology team of Heineken.
And not to mention two-time CIO 100 winner. I see the awards featured in the back over there. Thank you for that feature.
Thank you.
We're really excited to have you on this episode, really talking about Heineken's digital transformation. And also because this is kind of at the start of the year, I'm really looking at what are your plans, kind of some of New Year resolutions you may have for the year ahead, which is really exciting. So I guess the first question really is about what has been Heineken's digital transformation journey and kind of the factors that shape your strategy.
Okay, that's a great question. And I think the real transformation journey started actually in 2019, which was the time when I joined Heineken after nearly 20 years in a very different industries. I'm coming from automotive, where I worked for Mercedes-Benz. And when I joined in 2019, it was pretty clear for Heineken that a few bigger changes are needed. And I can give you some reasons why. And then let me start with the positioning and the standing of the technology function at this point in time. Like in many other companies, it was at this point in time more seen as a cost factor. The technology function was under finance, and we were not really at the same table with all the other key leaders in the company on a global level, on a regional level, and on a local level. And that also had an impact on the strategy. Because if you look at the strategy, there was a IT strategy of Heineken, but it was not fully integrated and connected to the overall enterprise business strategy of the company. Yeah, and another key reason why a change was needed was actually that we were coming from a very fragmented technology landscape. To give you a bit of feeling, so we had 3,500 business platforms and solutions in the company, 45 ERP solutions, different solutions globally. And we had no really consistent standardized view on where we are if we look at our technology landscape, and also not where we want to be in a few years. So based on that, a lot of things has happened since 2019. For example, now we have a new corporate function. It's called a digital technology function. And this is an uplifted function where now we are at the table. Yeah, if you look at a global level, we have a chief digital tech officer, Ronald and Elson, in the global executive team of Heineken. In the regional leadership teams, we are represented with leaders like myself. And also in the operating companies, we're at the same table where we have digital tech leaders in place. Yeah. And now if you look at the strategy, that's also very different. It's fully connected, integrated to the business strategy. There is a dream which we have, and where we inspire our people, which is about become the best connected brewer in the world. And now you also ask about the factors of the strategy. So we have 5 pillars, if I may explain quickly. The priority number 1 is about people. Yeah, this is very important, and for us, it's really about having the right people with the right capabilities in place. We really put a lot of effort in upskilling, digital upskilling, not only within the D&T digital tech function, also in the business on all levels, inclusive senior leaders. And then there's quite a shift in the company towards hubs, where we also leverage the power of hubs for different purposes in the organization. And now if you continue in the strategy for the 5 pillars, the other pillar is that we are digitizing our route to consumer. The next one is about data analytics, where we are really driven by creating value for the company, for the business, by leveraging data and AI. Then we are simplifying and automating our processes. And we focus on establishing what we call a secure digital backbone. And this is actually a full modernization of our technology landscape. So these are the five pillars of the strategy. And in general, across all these pillars, we really try to focus with everything what we do on our customers and consumers, and focus on value creation.
And what you mentioned there is kind of a familiar story for most IT teams, basically, how you used to be considered a cost center, and you had all these different plans and strategies or teams that were using their own ways of using technology or implementing technology. And then now coming to realizing that, we need to be a bit more unified and have a solid plan in place, at least for the company to thrive, or at least work for the business. And just to unpack that a bit further in terms of how you mentioned that the technology is enabling teams in Heineken to better serve consumers, basically. Could you share a bit more about how technology has enabled you and the company to build more customer value?
Yeah, absolutely. And in this context, you just mentioned consumer and then the word customer. It's good to explain maybe in a minute how this works in our business. Because we have both customers and consumers. If you look at a company like Heineken, most of the time, for example, in Asia Pacific, where we have so-called fragmented markets, we don't sell directly to you as a consumer who would drink, for example, a Heineken beer. Normally, we have customers in between, which can be bars, restaurants, or mom and pop stores, what is quite popular in the region, right? Now, if we talk about value for our customers, this is really driving us very strongly. We try, as I said before, with everything what we do to have our customers and consumers in the center of our activities. And maybe it's good to talk about one example how we create value there with our digital tech activities. Let's imagine you are now in Vietnam and you are the owner of a bar or a mom and pop store in Ho Chi Minh City. So then we would provide you an app which you can use from your phone, a so-called B2B app, where you can order 24/7 our products, right? And in the past, these kind of ordering processes were very manual. This could be like text messages, WhatsApp, paper, sometimes even. And then mistakes can happen and it's not standardized. So this is happening fully standardized with a state-of-the-art app. And there you can also then benefit from online promotions. There are loyalty programs which can add value to you as a customers. And what is pretty cool actually, and really has a direct impact on revenue of customers is what we call our product recommender. So this is an AI-empowered feature in this app where you get recommendations by AI to how you can order better, right? How often you should order, what products you should order. And there we can measure the direct positive impact on your business. And this is really highly appreciated by our customers. We can see a very positive trend in the NPS score where we measure the happiness of our customers. At the same time, maybe to add another example here is that this also brings efficiencies to the customers, right? Not only revenue uplift, because we fully digitize the processes. And I can give you another example, because what is also common practice is that we do kind of assessments of the shelves of our customers where we see how are the products positioned, right? And normally in old times, this process took an average about 24 minutes when a salesperson from Heineken went in a store and they did an assessment with the customers. Nowadays, we can do this in 3 minutes, which is a saving of more than 80% of time, just because we use shelf image recognition, yeah, AI, where we take a photo of the shelf and then you automatically get the result of this assessment. So these are some examples how we add value.
And it's quite timely that you're also introducing all these things like apps and technology that can actually view the shelf in real time. Because while as obviously as a provider you are evolving, but even those traditional mom and pop stores are also evolving and adapting to the times of where technology is being used widely by society. So they are also getting on or kind of catching the hint that they need to advance in the way they do business. So it's quite cool to see that you're also complementing their business in that way. And speaking of how society is changing, obviously in your capacity outside of Heineken, you hold advisory positions such as, being the ambassador for the World Economic Forum's Global Metaverse Collaboration Village. It's a mouthful over there. And also being co-chair of the Digital Economy Committee at, the European Chamber of Commerce for Singapore. So, what, in your position, having such a wide view of, so many different communities and industries, what are some of the key priorities do you see businesses having? And what is your advice maybe for companies looking to innovate or digitalize?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, indeed, I'm very engaged also outside of Heineken in these kind of organizations to really get an outside view as well, and collaborate and exchange thoughts with other leaders in the digital and tech community. And if you ask about common themes or priorities, maybe I can talk a bit about actually a challenge I can see across companies, even across industries, because I can see that many companies, they are overwhelmed, and actually they struggle with the speed and the dynamics of how what I call exponential technologies are disrupting their business or even entire industries. Yeah, and let me explain what I mean with that. Exponential technologies for me are technologies like, AI, robotics, 3D printing, sensors, IoT, Web3 technologies, and metaverse. All these kind of new technologies, they are moving very quickly, and this can be very overwhelming for companies or for the leaders in companies. And this is a common theme I can see. Now, if you ask me about my recommendations, so my learning and recommendation would be, first of all, stay calm and don't panic. All right, because there's this risk that you are so much influenced by the news and by stories shared by consulting companies and so on, that you don't know where you want to go, and you're changing direction too often. So first of all, stay calm and don't panic, and then do what I call demystify these exponential technologies. And this means I'm really deeply convinced that you should have your own understanding and your own opinion about these topics. I would not recommend to only listen to others, to so-called experts or consulting companies or whomever. It's really important to take the time and on your own as a company understand what do these exponential technologies mean actually in general, and what can they mean for your business. Yeah, and then based on that, on your business strategy and the impact these technologies can make, then prioritize and find out what are your big bets where you should focus on. And if you know that, then you need to think about the capabilities, right? And this can be tools, but this can also be people skills you need to work on these technologies. And you also need to think about what partners you want to choose to work on it. Maybe you cannot have all the capabilities in-house. And then you should get into this, experiment and learn, right? And continuously review and see what are the best opportunities for you. And maybe I can give you one quick example how this looks in practice, if at least if I'm working on these topics. If we can take metaverse as an example, which was the big hype like 2 to 3 years ago. So if I talk about demystify, what we did, I organized the so-called Metaverse Week here in the APAC region, where I invited external companies, people from Singapore government. We had someone from Silicon Valley, an expert, and we had for a partner like Microsoft, to really get all these different views and have a discussion about what is it and what can it mean for us. Right. At the same time, we did a lot of experiments, also at Heineken in different regions, in different areas, which can be consumer metaverse, industrial metaverse, or collaborative metaverse topics. And based on that, we derived some learnings and said, okay, where do we want to focus on and where maybe not at this point in time. And one of the big learnings for us is, for example, that it's about scalability, right? Because this is a big learning we have, that we should not always do similar use cases in different countries. In the concept of metaverse, we should do more scalable solutions from the beginning. Yeah, and now the big topic is Gen AI. That's the topic we are looking at. Yeah.
And speaking of big bets, obviously at the start of the year, coming into 2024, there's a lot of uncharted waters basically that you kind of have to wade through. And so look, applying it to yourself, maybe looking at yourself internally, what goals or intentions do you have for your team in 2024, and how do you plan on achieving them?
Yeah. So for 2024, there are a few priorities I will focus on with my team. I talk now in this context about the Asia Pacific region, which is my scope here as a leader. So one priority is definitely to continue to create value, but now go to the next level. Because what we have done, and I explained this a bit at the beginning, is if you look at our route to consumer at Heineken, we established already a quite strong digital ecosystem, right, for our own salespeople, for the distributors, which are our partners, and for our customers. And there we have different tools and platforms in place. And now it's really about fully leveraging these platforms which we have to create value, as I explained earlier in the meeting, which can have a positive impact on the revenue, but also on from an efficiency perspective. And how do we do this? I think it's very important to collaborate cross-functionally. So in this case, if it's about route to consumer, it's our commercial team, where we act like one team, like one family. We have even shared common targets, really to strongly focus on the value creation. The other priority is to continue our journey from a people perspective, where, as I mentioned also before, we are moving stronger into hubs, where there's a very exciting team which we created in the region here, which is called Tiger Tribe. So this is the first and only in-house innovation and digital product hub of Heineken with a global scope, right? So this is a team of digital natives. They can build digital products and innovate for global corporate functions for other regions and markets all over the world in a high speed for very attractive costs. And then we own the solution and we don't pay license fees and so on. So this is very a big topic for us. And then there's another hub we are getting started this year, which is about data analytics, where we are building in-house capabilities in the concept of data management, AI, and so on. So this is another priority, people and hubs. Then maybe two more. One is about what we call digital backbone. This is the modernization of our overall technology landscape, which includes our ERP solution and all the standard business platforms around it. So that's a big program for us, and we are getting ready now. So we are globally in the pilot phase, and later this year, or beginning of next year, we will then scale up also in our region. So we need to get ready for this. Yeah, and last but not least, the generative AI. I definitely will focus a lot on with my team. We are in the middle of this already, maybe to give you some insights. So what is, I think, very cool is that last year already, we opened up ChatGPT, so to say, to all our employees internally for free. They can use it on their phone as a bot. We call this PowerBot. And this is in our safe environment, which is very cool. At the moment, we are piloting Microsoft Copilot. We are in this early advanced program, which is super exciting. We're just coming to an end, and then we will see how we continue. And in parallel, we have started to do some research and see in which corporate functions, right, we have the biggest opportunities with generative AI. These are some of my priorities of the year.
That's a really long list. Usually when people plan for New Year's resolutions, it's only like one or two. We aim to achieve one or two, but it sounds like a lot of things are already underway. So we're really excited to see, the fruition that it all comes down to. Yeah, but it's been really such a pleasure to have this conversation with you, Ralph. And like you mentioned, the times that we are in, the pressures that companies are facing, is really quite a feat. So your advice and all that you've shared today has been really valuable. So thank you so much for all the insights.
Thank you so much for the great conversation. Very good questions, really.
No worries. And thank you for our audience as well for joining us on this episode. We hope to see you again next time. Thank you so much.